Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi submitted his resignation today to President Draupadi Murmu just before the NDA leaders met in Delhi. Now, this NDA meeting has happened with all the allies, including Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar, along with Chirag Paswan, Eknath Shinde, several others, Praful Patel. All of them were present today at Modi's residence. Now, there are reports that Chandrababu Naidu, who is supposed to be the kingmaker with 16 Lok Sabha seats, Nitish Kumar is also supposed to be another kingmaker with 12 Lok Sabha seats. So, they are the powerful forces and the allies who will help Narendra Modi to form the government. And there are reports that they walked in with a list of demands, and we do not know what they want exactly, but there are reports that he wants a special status package for Andhra. He wants additional funds for the development of Amravati. Similarly, for Nitish Kumar, he wants, I think, 4 cabinet portfolios. So all of these reports are doing the rounds, but there is no official confirmation on this. But the biggest question is, then how flexible will Prime Minister Narendra Modi be? Because he's not used to that coalition politics. He is used to an absolute majority, whether he was a CM in Gujarat or he's been the Prime Minister for the last 10 years. So, how flexible can he be? And if he becomes flexible for Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar, what will be the impact of this flexibility on other smaller allies who will now play a crucial role uh, to help Narendra Modi form a stable government? So, will he end up as a lame duck prime minister? That's a very important question which everyone is asking. How long can his government survive? What happens if Naidu or Nitish Kumar, either of them, if they withdraw support? So, how does one see the NDA government, and how open would be India alliance at this point of time to form a government, which also met this evening? All the allies from the India alliance, they met today, and we do not know as of now what has transpired in that meeting. But yes, they have discussed their future roadmap, how they will put out issues, what they will do. Joining me now are two veteran journalists with us: Javed Ansari, senior journalist, political commentator. Thank you so much, Javed, for joining. We have Anand Sahai, senior journalist, political commentator. I welcome you, Anand, on the program. And let me begin with Javed, that NDA leaders today have met, Javed, and apparently they've elected Prime Minister Modi as the head of the NDA, as the leader, and which goes to prove that now there is no confusion about the fact that he will be the Prime Minister. But what about the other protocols? Like, say, for example, BJP hasn't called its parliamentary party meeting. Then there is a certain protocol, and I'm sure you'll clarify that the Election Commission is also supposed to be briefing the President of India, but that hasn't happened. So, what does one make of this situation?
Well, I'm a bit surprised. It's like putting the cart before the horse. There is a standard operating procedure, and this is not just a custom. This is laid down. There's a rule book, and it's laid down the rules of procedure. Once the election finishes, once the last vote is counted, and the last certificate is given out, thereafter it's tabulated, everything put together. The president then seeks the chief election commissioner, then seeks an appointment for himself and two other election commissioners with the president. He goes to the president, notifies him or her that the process has now come to a conclusion, reached a conclusion. The president and the president then dissolves the previous Lok Sabha and prorogues a new one. Thereafter, he invites the leader of the single largest party or combination or pre-poll alliance to come and show him whether he has the numbers or not. If he is satisfied, even then there is a procedure. He's given a date, a week's time, 10 days time, to prove his majority on the floor of the House. So this, what intrigues me, surprises me, is this unseemly hurry. And first, apart from this procedure, whoever is expected to head the government first needs to be elected as the leader of his parent political party's parliamentary party. Once you are elected that, then the allies meet and elect you as a leader. Then you go with their letter of support and your party's letter to the president when called by him or her, and present your case that, look, here I have You furnish the proof that here I have the letters of support. These add up to more than 270, to at least 270 or 272 or more, and it's on that basis that you are invited. Here,
No, but
this
why
issue,
do you
this
think,
whole
Javed,
person,
why do you
this,
think
this
that Prime
the
Minister
whole
Modi?
process has been circumvented. And why is that's the $1 million question? Does he fear that the RSS or some, or that there'll be challenges in the from
Right.
within the BJP, or that the RSS may be having a rethink? We know for sure that relations with them are no longer hunky dory. Mr. Nadda in fact, went on record, which was unprecedented. Anand Bhai is many years my senior. He has tremendous experience of covering the BJP. It never happens that a BJP president in the middle of the election says that we are now Atmanirbhar, we don't need the RSS, we can do on their own. So obviously there is something which doesn't connect. So
Right.
what is it that he fears? Anand Bhai will be better placed to
No, but
throw
one
light on
question
that.
before I go to Anand. You raised a valid point, but Javed, about the election commission. Now, shouldn't the election commissioner, I mean, the chief election commissioner, shouldn't he have briefed and come and met the president about the completion of the process? So, what do we assume that hasn't the process got completed yet?
Look, we have no knowledge, at least I don't know, and I haven't read or seen anywhere that the election commissioner going, he can't meet the president in secrecy. This process cannot be done under secrecy. It has to be transparent, and it has to be seen by all. And the other thing is that once you tell the president that this has been certified, Narendra Modi can go and present his case, or I can go and present my case that I should be called in, that I have the X number of support. It's only when the president receives that letter certifying that the election process has been concluded, can he or she move forward in inviting? If the president on her own cannot just decide that call Javed Ansari or Anand Sai, they appear to have the numbers. It doesn't happen that way. Well, or let me amend it, let me correct myself, it hasn't happened in the past that way.
Right. Okay. So I'm glad that you've clarified this position. I haven't seen it myself in anywhere on any of the news websites or in the newspapers about election commission coming and meeting the president. But Anand, if I may come to you now, that do you see this as a clear violation of the protocols or the convention, all established conventions, what everyone and you both of you, in fact, have been in journalism for decades. So do you see this as a violation of a certain convention and protocol, just like what we saw that president was never invited for the inauguration of the new parliament building?
But if it's transpired the way you describe it, then I would say it is a violation. But we are completely in the dark. Javed explained the whole thing with a great care and step by step. We do not know if the election commission uh, have visited the president formally after taking due appointment and officially reported that no, the whole thing that I was entrusted with, the responsibility, the enormous responsibility entrusted with me, is now been fulfilled, and here it is. Now the matter rests with the Rashtrapati. Now, after that, the president will wait. The president does not go out on her own in this case to beckon people to come. Those who believe that they have merit, which means the right numbers, which can be proved, they will approach the president with their case. The remit of the president is to make sure that a stable government is established. That is the idea. The word stable is very important. And the word stable has played a crucial role in British political life. That's where we get our conventions from. Of course, we add our own conventions also as we go along, and we have done so. In this case, since the year 1991, when the coalition era politics came into play full blown, full blast, since then, different presidents have had different styles. President Shankar Dayal Sharma called Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee purely on the basis of say so, because Vajpayee is a highly respected leader. But Mr. Vajpayee, found to his own great dismay that within 13 days, those who said they would be with him were not there with him, and his government fell. For this action, the then president became a subject of criticism. President K.R. Narayanan took extra care. He not only went by the formal resolution of parliamentary parties and the letters given to him by leaders, those who were elected by the parliamentary party, but he also, for his own satisfaction, asked the MPs concerned to please come with me with your letters of support. This was until then quite unprecedented at the national level. But he did so because he did not want to attract any ignominy. This is one scenario. Look at the case in 1989. Rajiv Gandhi was the outgoing prime minister. He had 400 parliamentary seats, Lok Sabha seats, and his numbers came down after the election to just below 200. I don't remember the exact number. It was 195 or 190 or something close to that. So feelers were sent to him by sorry, Javed Sahab, kya keh rahe the aap?
His was the single largest party, yet he
Yes.
didn't stake a claim because he was short of the majority.
Yeah.
Right.
He was the
So just
first
like
party.
what?
He was
Right.
the first party. He had become the former prime minister because just days earlier he had lost his majority in the election, but he was still the largest party. Now, until he takes a first step, people with far lower numbers will not do so. So feelers were sent to him from the Rashtrapati Bhavan, feelers, unofficial, whole thing. What do you propose to do? To which he replied that I have lost the election. The man sitting with nearly 200 seats said that I had full majority. Now I do not have the full majority. There was pressure on Mr. Gandhi to try and form the government still. And he could have done so, but he declined to do so. That's one case study. And now here we have the exact opposite case
Right.
of
But
a man
now what?
who, if I may just conclude
Yeah.
this,
Go ahead.
a man
Go ahead.
who has lost the election, his own party strength is well short of the desired mark of 272, right? His NDA coalition partners, the so-called NDA coalition partners, Mr. Naidu's party and Mr. Nitish Kumar's party, they are like, a kind of a quick fix job just before the election, because these folks had been NDA allies, but years ago, fed up with the Modi style of work and so on, they quit. They quit on account of Modi's policies. And then strictly local compulsions obliged them to come back to join Modi. And they call themselves, ये shotgun wedding जैसे होती है ना, it's a bit like that. So these became, unlike in this case, the India alliance, which took one whole year to come together and then contest the election in a glitch-free manner, more or less. Here, this was a short, quick thing. These people have worked with Mr. Modi. They may still remain with Mr. Modi. We do not know, but that is an unknown proposition. They have all been in discussion. Here, everybody in this constellation of forces, that is India alliance, Mr. Modi's present allies, as well as an important thing to which Javed referred, the the other BJP leaders in the RSS, who are in a state of great unhappiness with the former Prime Minister Modi. And they may not be inclined because under his leadership, the BJP has collapsed from around 300 seats to 232 seats or 235 seats, whatever the exact figure, right?
40. Yeah.
So, therefore, should the BJP go back to the leader who has led them to an electoral crash? That is the issue. Are
Right.
there no other capable leaders inside the BJP?
Right.
Many think there are. And if so, then those leaders are also in a state of transactional conversations all around. No player is being left untouched. So while this state of affairs persists, while political leaders of different parties, different forces are trying to figure out each other's intentions, each other's negotiating stance, each other's demands, the former Prime Minister of India rushes to Rashtrapati Bhavan. As per protocol, he submits his resignation. After that, without the BJP parliamentary party having met, he calls a meeting of NDA. Now, we don't even know if every single NDA newly elected member of parliament was present in the meeting. We are operating in the dark. We have no idea.
Right.
And therefore, what is the sanctity of the meeting? If indeed it was a meeting of the NDA parliamentary party, is there a resolution passed? Was there a resolution moved and seconded? These are very, very formal affairs. The party system has its own demands in a democratic setup. It's not a question of me calling a few meetings. It's not a tea party. But before that, did any NDA member raise the issue of whether Mr. Modi had presented himself before them after getting a clearance from the BJP parliamentary party? After, having a resolution formally prepared and ready? We don't know. We are in the dark. And therefore, all that it seems that why should we be in the dark? In the normal course, these political parties go out of their way. They are very eager to let the people know through the media and in other ways to inform the country, to inform their constituents. This is not something happening quietly in the corner. This is a serious business. Forming the government of India, you know, of 140 crore people, this is not a child's play, some snake and ladder games going on. What on earth is happening? So we
No,
have to
but
raise
what?
important
Yeah.
questions. Sorry, Devi.
Right. No, no, no. I'm just trying to say, you were saying, no, that we do not know what officially has transpired. But Javed, coming to you now, that whatever we are seeing on the news websites, uh, we do not know, of course, what has happened inside. But what they've been saying is that all the allies have given support to Prime Minister Modi. Now, if what we are talking that, first there should have been a parliamentary party meeting, there should have been a clearance, and then he could have called an NDA meeting. So, does this NDA meeting look like a rushed exercise because of some fear, maybe which Prime Minister Modi or I would rather say now former Prime Minister might be having in his mind?
That's precisely the point that I made in my opening remarks. That I'm really intrigued. Why is it? What is it that he's scared of? He's, after all, he has delusions of divinity. He's divine. What is he scared of? The BJP, he's still seemingly in control of the BJP parliamentary party. If the proper thing to him, for him to have done would have been to first have a meeting of his parliamentary party. Can you imagine? I mean, as of 3 a.m. this morning, the last certificate was handed out. Imagine an MP in Assam or in some remote in Manipur. How is he going to make it to Delhi in 6 hours' time from there? So give it a decent time. This is an unseemly hurry. And iske piche kya hai? What is the reason behind this? I don't know.
Right.
He's either scared that maybe the BJP, the RSS might spring a surprise, or that a challenger might emerge from within. He has to first get elected by the members of his
By his own
parliamentary
party.
party, then the entire the MPs of the NDA, and then take letters of support from these leaders and then go to the president. It's a stage by stage process. You can't circumvent that. Even in this days of even in this day and age, there are certain procedures, there are certain rules of procedure you can't give it a go by. So I don't know what is happening. We don't even know if
I
he's just
see this. and this is a customary photograph of Prime Minister Modi right in the middle with all his allies. So there has been a photo opportunity moment also. There's the pictures are clicked with Nadda, Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, and all the allies, including
They are
Chandrababu.
more BJP. They are more BJP leaders than allies.
Yes, yes. So it's a photograph with, of course, Chirag Paswan, Anupriya Patel, all of them I can see. Uh, but the point is, it remains a mystery then why this was a rushed exercise. But coming to the next question now, why he did so? Of course, it's very evident that there is some kind of a fear that RSS might spring some kind of a surprise, or maybe there could be some challenges, as what Javed said. And coming to you now, uh, let's put this conversation aside for a moment, which of course has been a very, very crucial question for which we haven't got answers. But now, how flexible is Prime Minister Modi going to be if at all he becomes the Prime Minister? And I'm saying if. There is a big if to that. Or we do not know if there is a BJP parliamentary party, or at all if there is going to be one. We do not know. But if he continues as the Prime Minister for the third time, how flexible will he be? Will he be accommodative to all the demands made by Chandrababu Naidu? Will he be accommodative to all the demands made by Nitish? What will be its impact on other allies? That's also another question which everybody is pondering over.
These questions always arise when there's a coalition party at work, coalition government at work. Here, of course, we don't even know if the uh, if the if the formality, if the due process of the leader being elected by all those who claim to have made him his leader. We don't even know if those conditions have been met. So, apart from being in the dark, this itself is a commentary on the nature of the mind of the current set of people who are trying to be called by the president in this great hurry, unprecedented hurry. Before this, neither a BJP leader in the past nor a non-BJP leader in the past, not even the Congress party leader in the past, until the time that the Congress party used to have an overwhelming majority. And yet protocols were adhered to in a very fine way, you know. And therefore, a person like this is capable of, rushing through, imposing his will upon all those whom he presumes to lead. And those people, desperate as they are, having seen the fate of the BJP being reduced from a very high number to a very low number, right? They would not be in a mood to risk any, will they take chances, do anything to bring the government down, and therefore they may well do his bidding. We don't know what the calculations are. But on the face of it, we are not a small, tiny nation. It's a large nation. And you'll find that if any of this business happens, of the kind which permits the former prime minister to hastily form a government and then run it, in steamroller fashion, then I think there will, there is something called the people outside who've elected you. You'll have to contend with that also. Instability can arise from those sources also, not only from your MPs. And here in this case, with a large India bloc waiting just outside, with a large number of BJP MPs who are not in accord with you, and that is a matter of, it's clear as day. Anybody can see it, provided they have the eyes to do so. So I think policy making will be the very first casualty if such a government is brought into being, and therefore a great degree of very high responsibility rests with the President of India. Will the
Right.
President of India permit herself to be hustled like this by a man who has lost his power, who has lost his government, who has not been able to muster sufficient numbers in the election, trying to yell through the rooftops, you know, that I am the leader, therefore you must call me. I mean, she can say, go home. Who are you? I don't recognize you as leader. Unless you come to me with duly authorized, you know, having gone through the duly authorized process. So I think
Absolutely.
a lot will depend on the wisdom and on the practical
Yes.
ability of the president to withstand pressure. It's a very high constitutional office, which is automatically brought under great pressure in times like these, and especially when we are talking about, very, very, and sometimes people, political leaders who have been known for their sense of great irresponsibility towards the oath they have taken, as we saw in the last parliament, when 146 MPs were suspended in one shot, you know. So such were the people who were made presiding officers of the two houses, and by these kinds of people. So therefore, when such people approach you with a proposition, no matter how sacrosanct they may appear to be, visually, one should tread with caution. And I hope that Rashtrapati Bhavan will exercise every care, consult all the expertise available to them, uh, of a political nature, of a legal nature, of a constitutional nature, of all kinds,
Right.
before
Javed
agreeing
was
to
raising,
do this.
yeah, Javed was raising his hand. But Javed, now the next question is: we do not know whether these protocols and conventions will be followed, whether the president, will how will she invite? All of this remains a mystery when the convention itself has been violated. Now the question is that if at all Prime Minister Modi becomes a prime minister for the third time, uh, what is the guarantee that these two allies, especially Naidu and Nitish, will not pull the plug? And then he becomes a lame duck prime minister. So now the entire focus of Modi 3.0 government, is it going to be towards saving the arithmetic, saving the numbers so that his government doesn't fall? Is that going to be the topmost priority? Forget the governance, forget the policies.
There are several questions. First question first. I have no doubt in my mind that that Narendra Modi will be given the first choice to be will be amongst the first to be invited, and he'll be the prime minister. For how long? That's a question mark. As to the question that you had originally asked, Mr. Sahai, on whether Mr. Modi has it in him to deal with demands of allies, dealing with contradictions, governing through consensus doesn't come naturally to Mr. Modi. Since the time that he has come to power in 2002, when he first became chief minister, to now, he's always run a majority government or near majority government. This is the first time that he will be dependent on the crutches of two major allies to run his government. To run it, like I said earlier, governing through consensus is not something that comes naturally to him. So it will be both a test for his temperament and his political management skills on how you deal with this. Because so far it's always been either his way or the highway. How long will this situation continue? I don't know. If the past is anything to go by, he'll try and wean away. He'll try and break some opposition political parties, jail a few of them, arm twist the others, try and acquisitions and mergers. He'll try all that. And if all that doesn't happen, then I fear, I fear that this, whether Mr. Modi forms this government or the India Alliance forms this government, it will be inherently unstable, and we might have elections earlier than anticipated,
That's a scary scenario.
earlier than they are due in 2029, because
Right.
he might take the approach that this is a T20 match. Every ball you connect and try and hit out of the park, you do something really dramatic, which will try and give him an overarching national issue on which he can spin the election. So,
Right.
we'll have to really watch this space very keenly.
But no, but the other option, I mean, the other alternative probably could be Anand. That's again a question to ponder. That what happens, supposing if he's not able to pull off this coalition politics, the next year Modi will become 75. He'll be 75 years old. So if he feels suffocated and he's not able to carry on this coalition politics. So that gives him a window for a graceful exit, or will he probably will go for a snap polls? What do you think is of a higher probability?
Like
He's not a,
gracefulness. अरे जावेद आप go ahead. नहीं
Or is it
मैं
like
ये अर्ज कर रहा था कि gracefulness is a quality which is alien to his personality. A graceful exit, did you say? If that is what he can summon himself to do, then he would not be doing the things that he's doing right now. You know, trying to short circuit his way to power. That's what he's trying to do. And therefore, I think there is a redundancy involved in that question about him being, graceful and leaving quietly. I don't think such people leave quietly. Like Mr. Trump in the U.S. is not leaving quietly. And I tell you what, this is just a sneaking suspicion I have. You see these huge, big budget films which cost hundreds and hundreds of crores or thousands of crores, and they depend on one or two very important people, big heroes, usually heroes, not never heroines. And that poor hero cannot afford to fall ill or break his leg because the film has to roll very quickly. Money has been borrowed and so on. Much is riding on this one person. In the same way, the kind of policies pursued in India for the last 10 years have aimed to send money across to make life easier for a very small number of top heavy big business entities. Those are very well-known names. And the great risk in that world of this man stumbling his way through hurdles before becoming the prime minister once again, that's a nightmare scenario for those people as well as for the former prime minister of India. That could also explain, that could be one reason among several others why we see such enormous hurry. I mean, what is it? The train is not leaving. The boat is not leaving. If you have the numbers, you're confident, you will go through the process. You're avoiding doing that. And therefore, once you come in, supposing the President of India decides to call you in for whatever her political reasons may be or constitutional reasons may be, and we are not privy to those, then, as he said in his speech yesterday at his party headquarters, that I'll be going, hell for leather against corruption, which means the Gestapo will be out all over again. ED, CBI, ITA, God knows who they are, all these shadowy fellows. And then, number two, I will be doing things that you can't imagine, all that, which means full blast. From day one, he'll be in fourth gear trying to take up, big business policies. You can take these two for granted. It will
Right.
be an improvement upon the ultra non-democratic nature of governance that we saw, because such a leader will be in a hurry, not being sure of his own numbers, not being sure which of his allies will be lured away by which other quarters sitting right there. So he's a man in a hurry after that. And so God help us, that is not a very happy situation to be in,
Oh, certainly. So I can't.
Imagine a fellow who can, on his campaign trail, be calling the country's largest minority intruders. So what
Right.
kind of fair play can you expect from such characters?
No, I mean, certainly what you said does have a lot of merit. But Javed, now coming to you for the concluding comments, that all this while, I mean, since the time the results have come, people have been saying that now if Narendra Modi becomes a prime minister, he's not going to be like a muscle man. He'll be a mellowed fellow. He'll he'll come down from his high horse. But the way he has started, and as what you described initially, that it looks like a hurried exercise, there is something fishy, there is something suspicious. So Does this act really look like of a person who's mellowed down, who thinks that he's lost the election? At least it doesn't look so. So how would you say that? I mean, how do you describe this?
I don't think he will change his spots. He will, Mr. He's a split personality. He wants to appear at the world stage for external consumption, be very statesmanlike. I speak for 1.4 billion Indians, all Indians, and yet he looks at Indians like this with one eye. We are Guspetias, we are Mangal Suit snatchers, we are Buffalo Stealers, we are uh, Nalki Toti Chores, we are Mujra dancers. So I mean, what can you say for him? He says something and means exactly the opposite. So I don't see him. I've learned long ago uh, that as far as there is a couplet for him, for Ghalib's couplet. It probably wasn't written keeping it certainly wasn't written keeping him in mind, but it applies to him कि तेरे वादे पे जिए हम तो ये जान झूठ जाना कि खुशी से मर न जाते अगर एतबार होता. So I don't believe he will change his spot. He'll just wait for the right moment, and when he senses one, either a skirmish with Pakistan or a conflagration somewhere or some big bang economic something. I don't know what he can do. He hasn't provided the 2 crore jobs he's promised in 10 years. What will he promise and what will he deliver in a year and a half? But he'll look for some big back. He'll look for the right opportune moment and then try and go in for a renewed mandate. Because governing through consensus, running a minority government is not his cup of tea. It doesn't. For some time, he'll be very flexible, appear very cordial. He'll
Right.
do all that. But when it comes to policy matters, when it comes to really the nuts and bolts of running a government or day-to-day affairs, I'm not so sure.
Right. But some very crucial points coming out of this discussion. But as Varanand said, it doesn't look like a very happy situation. But we'll have to wait and watch what happens. And like Javed said, that probably he'll wait for that big bang moment. And who knows, he might go for a renewed mandate. So we'll have to really wait and watch as to what the next game by Narendra Modi is, what is the next game played by NDA as well. And of course, all eyes would be on what India Alliance also does in the coming days. Thank you so much, Anand Sahai, Javed Ansari. It was wonderful having you on the program. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.